This is Bob. Bob is a bona fide klutz, so it comes as no surprise that one day as he was driving down Main Street, he ran into a tree. Bob seemed fine, but the car was not. Bob went on with his week doing all his usual work. However, after the first day, Bob found it difficult to focus at work. After the second day, he felt his mood begin to change drastically. After the third day, he felt a dull, persistent ache in his head. After the fourth day, Bob decided to consult his health professional. The verdict? Bob had a concussion. First, the simple stuff. What is a concussion? This seems like an easy question to answer, but it's a lot more complicated than just a crack in the skull or losing consciousness. Depending on age and severity, a concussion can appear differently, caused by a bump, blow, or jolt to the head, which is direct, or a very fast movement of the head, which is indirect. The symptoms of a concussion can also be immediate, like losing consciousness or dizziness, and it can also be long-term, if there are cases of being hit in small degrees over some time. Now, the most interesting thing about concussions is what the brain actually experiences when it occurs. Imagine the brain is inside a water balloon. The brain doesn't sit stuck to your skull, but almost floats in what's called cerebrospinal fluid. If Bob's head hits the windshield at one point, this is called the coup, the initial blow. Then, because the brain is still able to move in the fluid, it could hit the other side of the skull, bouncing back, which is called a counter coup. This means that, even though the place of impact might be known, there could be more injury to the brain inside. Let's zoom in even further into the brain. The brain is mainly composed of neurons and glial cells, which help in relaying messages through electrical impulses. Neurons can release chemical signals known as neurotransmitters. The chemical signals relay messages and let you control your body to do things like watch this video. When stress is put on these neurons, they stretch and tear, making it harder for them to return to their normal state. The part of the neuron that carries a signal, the axon, swells and connections between cells can be lost. Another event that occurs during a concussion is bruising, when small blood vessels leak, which can lead to neuron death. Since different major functions of the brain can be localized to certain areas, the symptoms of a concussion can vary depending on the sites of impact. For example, hitting the frontal cortex, which is the most anterior part of your brain, can affect your ability to reason, focus, or perform coordinated tasks. Considering that most people enjoy sports to some degree, it is important to realize that there's always risk for injury. Even in soccer, the repetitive injury caused by headers can actually lead to concussions. There's a median of 800 headers per play per season, which is an intense amount of jarring movements for the brain. Let's be clear, if you are ever in a situation where you hit your head, be sure to realize that symptoms can show up even a week after the incident. The consequences of untreated concussions is very high. There is an interesting case of boxer's syndrome involving, you guessed it, boxers. I'm sure you've all heard of Muhammad Ali. What a lot of people don't know at a glance is that he suffered chronic symptoms of concussions, leading to hand tremors later in life. The repeated action of being hit, then leaving it untreated, led to his symptoms. So report injuries. You can enjoy your sports career for longer just by taking care of yourself. Break down brain damage, not your brain.
Created using Powtoon.